come out and be as brave as he is to risk everything of his life and everyone around him to expose this. Like, you know, the courage these men are showing in this whole whistleblower space right now is unbelievable. Seriously. And we'll talk more about that as we go on. So the technology now is at a point where we've only got one thing left to do. And I've been saying this in webinars since the beginning. I've been sharing this knowledge and wisdom with you that everything outside of us is occurring the way it's occurring because it is, from the big picture point of view of our evolution, it is corralling us into one direction. Because if you don't accept or buy into all of the external shenanigans that are going on, all the external distortions, manipulations, intrusions into our mind, impositions, there's only one place left to go, and that's to turn inward. And even Eric Hecker said at the end of his interview, know thyself. That's the solution to this challenge that is before us all. And so it is crucially important for each and every one of us to make our main point of focus moving forward from this moment on is to make sure that you are tending to the garden that is your mind. You need to make you, we all need to make us tending to our mind space the absolute priority right now over everything else. Because the way we perceive reality, you've heard me talk about this before, and depending on whatever we put into the space here, the mind space, whatever we put in here becomes the lens that we view reality through. Our whole entire perception of reality, of the ego, and the way we interact with this reality, all of it depends on what we have going on in here. So you going to work, the relationship with your family, with your loved ones, the gardening you want to do, going for a drive, doesn't matter what you do, all of it, every single activity you embark on in this world, in this reality, all stems from your mindset, which is the interface from your spirit, your cosmic consciousness, and your soul. This is where our egos reside, our individual persona. If we were to have more of a mechanistic, technical approach to this, this is the interface, the software interface module, right? The mind is the software of the brain. If you approach it from a techno-consciousness point of view, our brain is a biological computer, and the software that runs that biological computer, and I'll say not the deep operating system, I'm talking about the RAM, if people understand that concept, the RAM in your computer, which is the more outward interaction with all of your apps and software programs that you interact with, whether it's your mail, whether it's watching a video, whether it's Zoom. They all function on the level of the RAM. They don't function from the operating system. It's a more shallow level of operation. So the way we interact with reality all stems from our mind. And it is absolutely critical right now because the technologies that are coming in, and I've been warning you folks from the beginning, that when the cosmic candy comes in, they are going to be distributing energetic fields on the planet. They're going to be plugging into the collective consciousness field of humanity and putting in streams and fields of energy in there to sway the mindset of the human race towards their narrative. We're already seeing it with all the subliminal messages. You walk into any shopping center and there is subliminal technologies beaming at you to want to get you to spend your money. That's why often you will go into one of those places and you will buy things that you don't really need, and you come out and you wonder why. And while you were buying them, it was like, retail therapy, and you have this high and it feels really good. I have a family member who used to work on making the music for shops, background music when you walk into a store, and he had legal limits as to what he could do with the subliminal messages. And he said, George, I could have you walk into a shop if I was to be allowed to let loose on this, and you would offload all of the money in your wallet, and you would walk out and you wouldn't know why you did it, but you would do it because the power of subliminal technology at the moment is so strong. It is being pumped every time you watch the 6 o'clock news, every time you watch Current Affair, or you watch one of these sorts of shows. The camera's just adjusted to the daylight. That's we're just hitting daylight there, so you'll see an adjustment with the light going on with the camera, auto adjusting. The subliminal's now pumping through. That's why I haven't watched commercial television for nearly 20 years now. Because I'm sensitive to the subliminal programming. And whenever I walk into a house and the television's on, I've got to ask people to switch it off. It's really annoying because it's an imposition, it's an intrusion, it's a violation of my own mind space, right? It's basically you're being raped, mentally raped, without even realizing it. That's the true extent of it. I'm not exaggerating, and I'm not over dramatizing it. We're actually dealing with mental rape. And it's getting to a point where if we are not now being really true to ourselves and honouring how we are addressing our own mind space, there's a real issue going on here. Yeah, we're going to really expose ourselves to really powerful technologies that can sway the way we think and the way we feel, which then that means they're controlling our emotions, okay? By controlling the way we think and the way we feel.